So for this DIY, I'm showing you how I made my daughter's Maleficent costume. I bought a lacy black dress off of Amazon, and then I made her wings and her horns. Obviously, because she's only 3, the horns could not be heavy or uncomfortable, so I did find a way to make them easy, but where they weren't like shiny and didn't look like I wanted them to. I don't know. This is a super easy DIY. If you own black clothing, you could probably do this like today. If you haven't already, check out my DIY Ursula costume. I show you how to make the costume as well as do my makeup. Do my makeup? Sure. Do your, I don't know. Do the makeup? I'll have that linked below if you want to check it out. If you haven't already, please subscribe. I make videos like this at least once a week, sometimes twice a week. And if you want to hit that notification bell, then you'll be notified every time a new video goes up. So without further ado, let's get into the tutorial.
So to start off, you're only going to need 3 things. Some electrical tape, I found mine at Dollar Tree. Aluminum foil, again, Dollar Tree has this. And a 1-inch headband. I get mine from Amazon. They also sell these at Walmart and Kroger. I will have a link in the description box below. So start out with your aluminum foil, and I ripped off a sheet that was relatively large, and I honestly just started rolling it into a horn-like shape. I am going to try to explain this the best I can, but I will tell you guys a lot of this is kind of just eyeballing and playing around with it. The biggest thing to me was making sure that I had enough on the inside and that it was going to be firm enough to keep its shape. So I got the shape relatively quickly and kind of twisted it to make it look like they do in the live action movie. When my daughter dressed up as Maleficent, specifically, that was the one that she wanted to be. So I went ahead and balled up some extra tinfoil and put it inside the base of the horn, again, just trying to solidify it as much as I can before I begin taping it. Now, before you tape the first one, you are going to want to go ahead and make your second horn. The first one's always easier because the second one you are going to have to try to make as symmetrical as you can. Make sure that you rip about an equal size piece as you did before. I will say if you end up ripping off not enough tin foil, the good news is that you can just add more. And it honestly just solidifies it a little bit better when you add layers to it. So now I'm just working to make sure that they are symmetrical. I did also make sure to hold these up on my daughter's head and check them because I didn't want them to be too large or too small. You see me here adding some to the base because one of the bases was wider than the other and I wanted to make sure that they matched really well. Make sure that your horns are also not going the same direction. I kind of made this mistake at first, thinking to make them symmetrical they should be exactly the same, and that's not really accurate. One of them does need to bend the other direction in order for them to look right. So now you're really just going to see me messing with the shape from end to end, just kind of tweaking little bits here and there to get it exactly how I imagined it and how it would look on her head. Again, the good news about this craft is that if you mess one up, just grab more tin foil and try again. So I decided that the horns were a little bit too narrow, so I did decide to rip off some more tin foil and add it around the horn. So again, I am layering mine with another layer of aluminum foil, and I'm going to do the same thing to the other horn. Just kind of eyeballing it and adding as much as I feel is needed. This really helped me kind of get the shape a little bit more how I was imagining it in my head. So now you're going to get your electrical tape. Now the reason I decided to use electrical tape and not duct tape is because electrical tape is not as shiny as duct tape, and I really hated how the duct tape looked. I just felt like it looked like duct tape, whereas this I felt like had kind of a different texture to it and looked more like the horn. You're also able to create the kind of like the ridges that Maleficent's horns have in the live action movie. So that is what I'm going for. I did try to create, as you like, I don't know if you can really see it, I'm kind of moving quickly, but I just kind of wrapped it around the horn as I was going. If the horn starts to compress and get tighter as you're moving, that's totally okay, but do make sure that you're pressing down really good, because the bad thing about the electrical tape is that it's not quite as adhesive. Does that make sense? It doesn't adhere quite as well to the tin foil. So I did have to kind of go over it with my hands and really make sure that I pressed it down on the tin foil, but also you have to be careful not to deform your horns. So it's kind of just a balance game, if that makes sense. But I definitely liked the texture that I got from this tape way more than if I had used duct tape. So now I'm going to show you how to attach them to the headband. So I took mine and then I took a long strip of electrical tape and I'm kind of wrapping it in a V shape around the horn. So I'm going down around the headband and then pulling it back up around the horn and wrapping it in this direction a lot, like a lot. You can also apply hot glue to the bottom before you do this if you're scared about them not being enforced enough. I found the tape to be enough, but my daughter did only wear these one time for Halloween, so if you're wanting to use them more than that, maybe just go ahead and reinforce it with some hot glue underneath. But you definitely need to do the tape on top, and the good news is that actually makes it blend in with the headband a little bit better. This is what they looked like when my daughter wore them. I think they turned out really, really cute. She absolutely loved wearing them and loved being Maleficent. If you guys have any questions for me, please leave them in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe and ring that notification bell so that you don't miss my upcoming Halloween videos. Bye!